Happy
Thursday.
Happy Thursday. And welcome back to Live from
Rabs. Here we are.
Here inside the one and only Rabs Country Lanes. We appreciate you joining us today. It's Thursday, so Thursday means we're talking
food. Something near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, near and dear. We have our weekly check-in with our good friend. And we've now, you heard it here first a couple weeks ago, we've dubbed her Staten Island's food guru. Pam Silvestri's with us today, and we have some other special guests joining us.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some fun today.
And we got guests, and we got big news today.
Yeah, well, breaking news.
Breaking news.
This is where we need like a graphic that comes across the
screen. Joe Cal's working on it for us.
We've been extended for another season.
Yes, we have. We've got picked up by the network, which is us. And we're here till May 15th. So.
Yeah, so the governor officially gave us the opportunity to continue our series here to at least May 15th.
At least May 15th.
Yeah, whether that's a great thing or not, I don't really know.
It's unfortunate for business, but I guess it's good for us. Some other news. I'm going to let Frankie.
So we've had a lot of news today. Today has been a lot of news. Good, bad, ugly, wonderful. It's all over the place. So we should be happy we've been extended to an extent. It is a little sad that we are we are on pause through May 15th. But our the health and safety of everyone comes first.
Primary,
without a doubt. And so within that same theme, it's not June 1st. Our bowling friends, the USBC and the youth development team at the bowling campus announced today the official cancellation of the Junior Gold Championships, which we had lots of youth bowlers looking forward to competing in that event. The news dropped about a couple of hours ago. Certainly not an easy decision for them to make.
No, absolutely not.
It's an emotional decision for many. Whether it would have been their first opportunity to go compete
or their last,
right? So know that we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. It's been a commonly asked question. So sadly, they have announced the cancellation really for the right reasons. And the unknown. They had plans for a June 1st announcement with the information that they have. USBC was working hand in hand with the information they get from CDC and. Of course, the states and the facilities we're using. We were scheduled to go to Las Vegas. Those casinos are all shut down. Not knowing when we'd have the opportunity to get them up and running. And of course, traveling. Let's say if New York is paused till May 15th, that's just us.
That's just us.
What else is?
So many people traveling from so many different areas. Having to make plans ahead of time. Listen, is it a like Frankie said, it's a hard emotional decision to make, but in the end, the decision is what's for the good of the staff involved, the athletes involved, and the athletes' families. And all of the staff of the hotels and this is a huge event, and
we're talking about thousands of people embarking on a city just for this event, and whatever might happen. If let's say if the event was able to go on, people travel. Who's going to be traveling? Who's not going to be traveling?
Correct.
Who's making the choice? There are a lot of things that were taken in consideration for sure. The one positive thing, there are some all the advancers that had advanced already are going to earn a little scholarship money, the entry fee. Now, of course, that doesn't replace the experience.
Correct.
But now we have to look forward to the 2021 event, which I believe is scheduled for Indianapolis. And we now have a full year of preparation with our kids. I know it doesn't replace the event, but hey, we're going to do the best that we can when we are able to get back in the lanes. The first thing, hey, we could postpone it till September. It's just not that easy to take that event and just move it. So
correct, because now, they do it at the perfect timing, the middle of the summer, when school is not an issue, or taking kids out of school is not an issue. So moving it to any time from September on, and then you have to contend with kids that are coming back to school that are some of them probably going to be months behind in work. You listen. It's like I said, like Frankie said, it's a tough one, but it's the only thing that could be done.
Yeah, and there are a lot of questions out there. So go to bold. Go to bold.com. Read the full press release with the information. There'll be more information that USBC shares over the next week or so. Kathy is asking a question in regards to the age. So the age limit had changed on youth bowling this year. As far as we're aware, that won't change. They're not lifting the age cap,
right,
in lieu of this. There's so many. It's easy to say, hey, let's extend that rule another year. It's not just that. There are a lot of pieces to the puzzle. So sadly, again, it's emotional for a lot of these youth bowlers who were aging out, who thought they'd be aging out sooner, and now will be aging out.
Right.
From my understanding, there'll be no change to lifting any of those rules. It'd be easy to say, hey, let's go do it, but it's easy to say we wouldn't be able to effectively do it.
Right. It creates issues in other areas that their USBC is trying to comply with.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
Yeah, so, right.
It's multifaceted. So our parents will be in touch. We'll have conversations with the kids and do what we can when we're able to. So UFN until further notice, but at least we have some clarity. I know lots of the parents were looking forward to going to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
as was I. So let's do the best that we can and make the best of it. So that's about for bowling for now. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more.
We'll talk about that later.
But today we're talking food, and so we got our food guru, Staten Island Advanced food editor, the one, the only, Pam Silvestri.
Pam Silvestri.
And so, hi Pam.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? And we have another special guest with us today. Oh, there he is. Hey.
Oh.
Hey, Massimo.
Hi, Massimo.
How you doing? I'm not driving no more.
So Massimo was just driving as we had him in waiting, which wouldn't be the first time that somebody's driving.
No, we had a whole concert the other day while he was in the car.
Oh yeah,
John Rome.
And Joe Bruno was working on his.
That wasn't even a car. That was an excavator, I believe he was in. Dump truck or something.
Massimo comes. Are you inside the restaurant?
Yes.
So Massimo, if you know Massimo's inside of. Are you inside Vinum?
Yeah.
So hey, Mas, tell us. Hey, how are you? What's going on?
Staying busy. Trying to stay busy. And trying to stay out of the house as much as I can. Just running around trying to reorganize. The restaurant business into the delivery and pickup, which is a totally different animal. I mean, I did not know it was that much of a different animal than the usual dining room.
Yeah, I would imagine. You probably said, we could send all of our food out, no problem. No.
Yeah, I mean, I never really got into the delivery part of it, not because I don't like it, just never got into it. Random few here and there, but nothing major. And so this is definitely thrown into the fire pit all at once. So we're getting adjusted. I'm not the only one. Many of, everybody's trying to get adjusted to this new restaurant world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you also doing the same thing from across the street from the Richmond, or you're focusing out of one?
The Richmond, the first week we give it a shot. It was really, like I said, we're trying to get adjusted. We also have Casa Belvedere. So that's a pretty big animal, and we're taking care of that one. And we're looking to relaunch the Richmond actually next week.
Okay.
Well, we shut it down after the first 10 days. And then, we just concentrated me here and also Casa Belvedere. And now we're going to go back into the Richmond, hopefully next week.
It seems to be a little bit of a trend. Some places opening back up again, which is good to hear.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So Pam, just so if you don't know, and you know now, if you don't know, Pam goes live every morning at 9 a.m. on Facebook with her little with an update of what's happening in the food scene, and then updates a food diary on SILive.com. So Pam, what's some update? What kind of update you have today?
On the note of Massimo started a group which is downtown Staten Island. It's what's it called again? It's a downtown.com or downtownsi.com.
I don't hear her.
Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you. Massimo
Okay.
can't hear you.
Okay.
You can hear us though, right, Mas?
Yeah, I hear you guys. I don't hear Pam.
Okay, she wanted the name of the group that you created, Downtown Staten Island, Downtown SI.
Oh yeah, I put together a small website. It's called Eat Downtown SI,
Right.
and basically, I guess we got bored, I guess, but no, I contacted local restaurants. We all know each other anyway, and we put one website, and it's getting bigger.
James
I got
Coffee.
by next week we'll have about 10 restaurants on there, and as a customer goes on our website, gets a little preview of all the restaurants, a little description of what we do, menus and specials and offerings and all that. And without leaving that one site, you can preview all the restaurants and what they're doing.
That's great. So eatdowntownsi.com. I dropped the link in the comments for everybody to check that out. And it's nice to see you and your fellow restaurants working together, especially in this climate, and knowing moving forward that's something that you'll be able to do.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? When we get together and start chatting, we all chat about the same crazy stuff that affects us, and we all get it. So, we try, throw a couple of laughs in this craziness. And, without even finishing the sentences, we're already, we all know exactly what we're going to say,
Right.
because we're all experiencing it. So, and then, we share ideas and hopefully resources. I know I already do, and a couple of guys do with me as well. Sometimes we share drivers, because drivers is not easy to get.
Mm.
It's really not only it's not easy to get, it's also expensive. And and during this time, we're all trying to do inexpensive packages for people. I have my menu, and then I also, which we all offer 10 to 15% off as a group on our website. And then we have packages. We try to feed people for as little as possible. Where we can still make a few dollars, but also the people feel comfortable ordering from us, because maybe sometimes it's just as inexpensive, as expensive to order from us than it is going to a local market.
Yeah.
So we're trying to come up with all different ideas possible. How's that?
I think that the other kind of cool thing that you're doing, Massimo, can you hear me? Well, anyway, the other cool thing that Massimo is doing is he's doing a wine tasting at the end of April, if you want to ask him about that, because I thought it would be kind of cool if we could do like a virtual one where he goes on Zoom or he goes on something where we can
I wonder if Pam could hear
experience it.
her.
You know what? You might, Massimo. You might. I'm not sure what's happening, but you might have to leave and come back to hear her. But Pam is actually talking about your upcoming wine tasting, and then maybe even doing a virtual. Hey, I'm in for any type of wine.
All right. So you want me to try to get out and come back in?
Yeah, try that, and that should work.
All right.
Close out the app and bring it back.
So in the meantime, also I want to tell you, Randall Manor Tavern is open today. They reopened. Also, some of the Chinese restaurants are starting to get back in the game. We have Empire Szechuan is going to be opening in Eltingville Shopping Plaza. I had mentioned this on the show this morning. It was a little bit of it's not Empire East, which is in the mall. It's Empire Szechuan.
I hear Pam now.
Oh, right. So she's talking about the restaurants that are reopening, and especially Chinese restaurants, especially, which were ones that were struggling in the beginning of all this.
Yeah.
Going back to February, I remember. I don't know if I shared this with you.
People wouldn't order from them.
No, they wouldn't order. And so when this was all coming down, I remember sitting in the sushi place, and the manager had told us that sadly people were calling, asking if they were Chinese, and hanging up the phone. And which I can't fathom. That it's so sad that people would do that and not want to order food. But I'm glad to see that some of them are reopening. I think Oriental Plaza was one of the last ones to have remained open for a little while, right, Pam?
Mm-hmm. Oriental Plaza, and then Angela Chow over at Jade Asian Bistro. She reopened. She was closed for a couple of weeks, I believe, on New Dorp Lane. Then we also have Kume, which is a brand new restaurant that opened on Forest Avenue. They sell sushi. and they do like a hibachi type of format, very casual place. They are opening in anyway, so they're open, and then also Arirang has been doing it for quite a while.
Yeah.
So they've been pretty much open the whole time except Mondays. Mondays there's like
You've got already.
a real dearth of Chinese food. Like nobody's open on Mondays just to take a break, and they're overwhelmed. You know, like whereyoueat.com. Massimo, do you use whereyoueat.com?
Not yet.
So the Alex is a good guy. He kind of built this website when he was in college, and it's pretty cool. It's very it's got a lot of menus from around the island and things like that, and you know, it's a very knowledgeable, a very great source of information. But anyway, so they also noted that some of the other places that are opening. Anyway, please, Massimo, talk about the wine tasting. I think that's pretty cool.
I love listening to you, Pam. That's it. You know what I mean? Come on. I always try to hit up Pam every time I need to go somewhere to eat. I ask, oh, is this open? Is that open? I was dying for Chinese, Japanese, anything but my food, and Pam always there to help me out.
Oh well, I am a directory of telephone numbers and such, and so
listen to me.
Yeah.
411 has got nothing on you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're going to start a new one. It's a food 11.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
well, we've been doing wine tastings here since I opened up. I mean, I skipped maybe a couple of months here and there in the summertime for obvious reasons, but every month we always have a wine tasting. You know, Italian, mainly Italian, but I also go into some obviously California, and it's always like a 4 or 5 course dinner, paired sommelier.
1 second. Pardon me. One
Yeah,
second.
go ahead.
Gotta go for your kid.
Sometimes the
she's going to go yell at her kids.
What's that? Yeah,
She's gonna yell at her kids.
probably beating each other up.
Yeah. So yeah, you keep talking about what
Yeah,
you're
the
doing,
wine
yeah?
tasting.
So, me and my sommelier, we said, listen, let's not skip this month. Let's figure it out. So we're gonna do an off-site wine tasting. We already had to set it up and we had to cancel it, but now we're gonna put it back on at the end of the month on a Thursday, which is April 30th. We're gonna do a 5-course wine tasting from a great winery in Tuscany. So how are we gonna do this? Well, obviously everything's gonna be plated. And we're gonna have a couple of drivers send everything out about half an hour before everything starts, and I'm gonna have everybody link up to Zoom, put a camera in my restaurant. I'm gonna have my wife sit down at a dining room table, and as everybody's on camera, we'll serve each course. I will be speaking about the obviously the food, the plate we're serving at the moment, how it's prepared, where it comes from, and my sommelier will be talking about the wine, how it, from where it comes from and so forth. And we'll go course by course by course. The wine, what we're going to do is I have these small individual glass bottles, which we're going to bottle the wine in individual glass bottles that we will be, delivered with the food, labeled. And
That's pretty smart, Moss.
and we're going to get a drink on. And, hopefully we'll get enough guys on. I have some great loyal customers that have been coming to my wine tasting every single month. They don't even ask me what wine I'm serving or food. They just come automatically. This time is going to be Tuscan winery with wild game. So, wild boar, rabbit, lamb, what have, things like that.
What a great idea. I think that's such an awesome idea. And
Yeah.
I envision this, that we do it all together, on virtually. I think that is such a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, like I
Figure that
said, on the laptop, you're going to have everybody will be somewhat seeing each other. You're going to see what we're doing, and they're going to, talking to each other. Hopefully, a lot of these guys, a lot of my customers, they know each other, so they'll be talking about the wine and with the food. Basically, the same thing we do when we're here in the restaurant, except that you'll be looking at each other on a camera, which these days people are used to it, and that's that.
So
Tina Voltaggio is on here, and she's saying, Massimo, our anniversary dinner last night was delicious. Thank you.
Oh,
So
Tina,
nice.
yeah. That was she called me earlier in the afternoon, and we brought everything to her around 5 o'clock, as she was all excited about doing anniversary in our house. And I mean, to me, it was it was great to hear that somebody's calling me for the anniversary. To feed them.
And I just want to, Helen, our Archipoli. That's a great name, by the way. Helen, you said, is Pam okay? She keeps stuttering. And I actually got a phone call from my friend. It's a long story, but somebody fell in the neighborhood, an elderly person. And I had to get in touch with the guy who's a doctor in the neighborhood to go check her out. So I was a little panicked when I'm like looking at the text. And so I'm sorry about that. I apologize for being a little verklempt.
Oh, hey, you know what? You really are the 411.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh, that's just terrible. We have a doctor that lives up the block, and he's pretty good about, he's sort of like a neighborhood doctor. He's got he used to have his practice in his house, and he's retired now. But anyway, so that was that. Kosher restaurants. There's like no kosher restaurants on the island, and I don't know. Massimo, do you remember Golden's Deli? Do you remember going there in New Springville?
I moved to Staten Island about 5 years ago.
So it's gone already.
And I still get around with a GPS when I go home. So I'm the worst.
Well, I thought Golden's was great. The service there was a little wonky, but it was kind of cool because they had that subway car, and you could go in the subway car and have your matzo ball soup and everything. I loved that. That was so Staten Island. They had the caricatures all around. I loved it. And then there was another place that had opened. It was called Vintage Deli, and it was on Lincoln Avenue. It was sort of short-lived. I guess it went for about 2 years, but it was a neat little place. It was like underneath like another place. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like, it was called Allure Cafe later on, and now it's
right at the top of the block.
Right, Panino Rustico is there now.
Yeah.
And Massimo, those are your friends, Panino Rustico.
Yeah. They're from Bensonhurst. They have a place in right on Bensonhurst. Great paninis. Good guy.
Yeah, and they do a nice job there. That's another nice place. In a very airy environment, when you could sit down and dine again. But I'm kind of curious. Harold's is only Frank says that Harold's is only 15 minutes away from Staten Island and Edison. Yeah, if you can handle those massive, sandwiches.
Yeah, the only time a kosher restaurant, there was a vegetarian kosher Indian cuisine that had opened up not far from with that Victory and Clove. I thought
Yes.
I remember that. Yes. I don't know. Are they still open?
No, they closed. That was a restaurant that was a little bit of an offshoot from of an Indian place called what was it called? Indian Clove. It was like
Yep.
Yeah, they were sort of short-lived. But yeah, I mean, vegan and kosher sort of goes hand in hand. I have a friend who's Jewish, actually, who used to be my neighbor, and they were very strict vegans. So that was very helpful to have that kind of a restaurant. But yes, the chocolate Frank Tisolino had the 32-ounce chocolate egg creams. Yeah, basically an egg cream is just chocolate syrup and seltzer. I don't understand the craziness about it. People from a certain era are so nuts about that particular concoction.
It's an old school deli thing, no different than a deli pickle. Like you go and you look forward to that beverage. I like them too, but now I'm with you. It's not that. Hey, I want to get back to the wine tasting thing. I'm really excited about this.
We are. We're very excited.
Massimo, tell us, how can one sign up for the wine tasting experience that you're going to set up?
Well, I have to do a background check on you first. You got to get vetted. And then afterwards, we got to get a poll together. No,
I almost spit my coffee out.
Yeah, we're gonna blast the menu out. Actually, today, what we're gonna be serving, and then everybody usually calls directly to the restaurant or emails us to the restaurant, and then and that's that. And obviously, I'm sorry, it's not just that. I got to go check out how it's going to work on Zoom. And, I know how to work on Zoom, but I guess everybody else that got to download the app so they'll be able to, experience that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I'm in. So
I'm definitely in.
And it's funny because for me, I'm out of the way. So we love making trips down there. And the last time I said it was in the restaurant. 4 visits before, you had told us you have to try my lasagna. And we were talking about the lasagna every freaking time I showed up. And of course, you didn't have enough. So finally, the last time my brother and I sat at the bar and finally got to enjoy that lasagna. And I'm telling you, if anybody, there's no comparison. I would never eat lasagna out in a restaurant. But you sold it and oversold it, and man, it was probably one of the best lasagnas you ever had.
Food is great there. We love
my
going
brother's
there.
watching probably, and he made a lasagna the other night, which was amazing. But yours does trump.
Well, there's the classic lasagna bolognese, which is your ground bolognese meat sauce and bechamel. But a couple of guys, when they come in here, he goes, it looks like a lasagna, but in reality, it's a short rib beef stew held together by 2 slices of pasta.
Oh, it's delicious. Hey, and I love the menu. There's so many great things on your menu. What's your top seller?
My top seller on the pasta is the lasagna, believe it or not. And they all sell really, really well. The cool thing about computers today, you see what your ranking report, what sells the best. The truffle pasta is these little purses of pasta filled with cheese and a creamy wild mushroom and truffle sauce.
Well, that's what I have. Yeah, that's great.
One. The lasagna is 2, and right next to it is a fight between the pappardelle with the wild boar meat sauce.
Oh, that's good too.
And the fettuccine with the short rib meat sauce. A lot of meat eaters around here. People always ask for like veggie dishes, and then they always end up eating meat.
Hey, that beet salad is really good.
Yes.
The beet salad is, it's crazy how many beets I go through. It's beet salad in general in all my restaurants is by far one of the top which is a salad, but it's more like an appetizer that we sell. And you know what else? Cauliflower. Oh, madonna mia. The cauliflower gratin is like, it's pretty crazy.
That's Massimo. Do you know Maurizio Asperdi from Basilio Inn?
Of course, yeah, sure.
He decided not to continue. He decided to kind of shut down the other
really?
day. Yeah, I guess he's like, I don't know, not disheartened, but I guess something happened with the wind knocking something down, and I guess it's just the to-go format is difficult for some restaurants like that. I mean, he's done the same thing for decades, right? And now have to change over. But I think that permanently we're going to, Joy Moore Kellenbarger is saying that this food sounds fantastic. His food is fantastic, and it is it's killing me too because I'm like drooling thinking of like the wild boar ragu. But
and Joy is watching us from Ohio.
Oh wow!
Joy, you're gonna have to make a trip because you can't experience what we're talking about in Ohio.
Oh no, it's one of a kind. One of a kind. So Massimo, how did you decide to invest in this particular part of Staten Island? What drew you there?
Or that specific location?
That's I find it a very amusing question because I've been asked that God knows how many times. Like I said, I'm not from Staten Island. I was born in Italy, but I grew up in Brooklyn. And my past businesses restaurants were in, actually my first one was in Florence, Italy. But after that, when I moved to the States, my other restaurants were in Manhattan. I briefly got out of the business for a while. I went into the food business for large corporations, so corporate world, and I moved to Staten Island. And when I moved to Staten Island, not knowing Staten Island, after a few years, I left the corporate world because the itch was always there to go back into it. And started looking around for areas. So I lived in Brooklyn in funky neighborhoods before they became what they became now. I lived in Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Williamsburg, by the north side, when there wasn't even a high rise yet over there. And when I came down here to look around, this area reminded me of that. And the mixture of people and just, also being close to the water, just like Williamsburg is and so forth. And it's, it's a great mix of people. You start getting away from the North Shore, this particular area, it becomes, to me, all the same. I don't know how to explain that to you. And it's funky.
Yeah.
And when I saw the little house, the little building, I said, wow, this reminds me of, I want to be able to, when they walk in, to think they walk into somebody's house. And that's exactly what it reminded me when I walked into the space, even though it didn't look like the space. I completely ripped it out. And you find many of these places in the countryside in Italy, in little villages, little towns, very rustic, small. You can see the guy cooking behind, and that's exactly what we kind of recreated over here.
Yeah, that was a. It
And
was
also,
a
I'm sorry, one more thing. And everybody, and I'm saying every single person that I kind of knew in Staten Island, including supposedly friends of mine, how they told me that I obviously I can't say it live, I was out of my skull to be taking a lease of a space on Bay Street, not only on Bay Street, but in Stapleton. So I'm like, okay, no problem.
Well, funny thing is that I grew up about 3 blocks from there. My husband grew up on Bay Street, a block away.
Oh,
My
wow.
father owned the business on Bay Street and Broad Street where Lackawanna is now.
Yeah.
It used to be Richmond Glass and Mirror, and we were there for 20 years. And now it's nice to see businesses coming back in. I get my hair cut at City Curl.
Me too.
Yeah.
Great girls over there. They come here all the time. They're over here to get in their food for Easter.
And it's nice. It's little businesses, like you said, family owned, and it's really nice to see that coming back to the neighborhood.
Listen, you know what's cool also? When I opened up, and still now, I get, obviously not a lot of them, but I do get people coming in from the city. They'll come here to eat, and I see them, and they'll repeated customers. Obviously, every couple of months I see them, but I'm like saying, wow, they're coming from the city to come here to eat. Why? It's also very accessible.
Yeah.
Ferry, it's free. It's a cool ride. Well, sometimes it's literally cool, but it's a nice ride. And then it's a 2-stop train ride, and boom, you're here. And aside from me, there's other places now you can walk around and check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very accessible.
Yeah,
After this neighborhood, it becomes like, okay, wait a minute, I got to drive now. I got to, so it becomes a little bit different maybe. But we're very accessible to the city and everywhere else. And that's one of the main reasons why I liked it is because of that. It's accessible to the city and to Manhattan.
Yeah, and now so many people there's so many things to look forward to in the area where you can, you could now truly do a bar crawl. You could go and enjoy some of the restaurants that are in that space. I love making that trip down there. Before you opened, and I love the place. You did a great job, and in the back is great too that you recently opened.
Thank you.
It was a little burger joint that was blue and purple and white. That I think toppings. I think it was called.
Yes. Toppings.
I don't even think it ever opened.
No, it opened.
It was short-lived. But I remember what it looked like driving by and going, "What are you going to?" Just to your point, what the hell are you going to do with this?
Well, listen. When they, again, my friends. When they give me the history of I think it was 3 different restaurants in a matter of less than 2 years.
Yeah. And
they said, obviously, wishing me the best by saying, how long do you think you're going to last down here? You're going to get killed, shot, this and that. And I'm like, there's a very bad stigma in Staten Islanders of what this neighborhood is like. And it's a stigma that this neighborhood doesn't belong to it. So and I gotta admit, I get a lot of people from all over the island, and I'm not saying thanks to me, but thanks to the people that have opened in the last few years, they're showing people from the opposite side of the island that it's not true. It's a great neighborhood. There's a lot of great spots to go to, and the biggest thing about it, I believe, down here is where you find a lot more diversity in food options than you do than the rest of the island.
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt. Hey, we have a new guest has joined us. Hey, Dave. Oh boy,
he's driving.
He's driving.
He can't hear us, Teddy.
Hi, David.
Hello.
Oh, we can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Massimo, how are you?
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Hanging out, chit-chatting like I always do.
I was listening to you. You're so right about Stapleton having a bad stigma attached to it. It really is a great little neighborhood, and the city could do much more to support that area.
Yes.
Hey, Dave. What are you up to? Oh, you can't.
Can't hear
You
us.
can't hear us.
My apologies if I was chewing. I was eating a little piece of polenta with mushrooms.
Oh,
And sure,
Yeah.
make us hungry. Make
Yeah.
it.
Well
No,
done.
David is. David, are you there? Well, anyway, David can't hear us right now. So, but he's basically delivering produce, I think. So we have a little bit of a farm kitchen. We are licensed by New York State by the Ag and Markets, and we have a farm kitchen actually.
Look at you! I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, it's legit. It's legit from the state, and we have an inspector that comes, and we're allowed to produce things like, well, David does it. David's handling of it. He does jams and jellies and baked goods, and we can't do things that have protein in it. So, but that is a little side thing. But that's what his little side thing is, to do that, and people enjoy it. And he's been getting produce in from the Hunts Point Market, and some friends that work up there. So,
So that means that he's out there early in the morning, huh?
Yeah, actually, well, the gentleman that comes to bring it it's paratrooper Chris. He's wonderful, and he brings the produce in and sacks of potatoes and things like that. We divvy them up, or David divvies them up, and then basically distributes them to people who all chip in. It's like a CSA. So, but just sort of to mix things up for people. Also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's like not a lot of greens. Like there's no arugula and things like that, like loose greens in the supermarket. I don't know. So that's something that people need, and so we have access to it. So
that's why I was so happy yesterday when Girardi's was open.
Hey, David.
Because had a lot of stuff.
There he is.
Yeah. Oh, you went to Girardi's?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow.
I love Girardi's.
Nazareth, where do you live, if you don't mind my asking? You live over?
I live Daniel Terrace.
Oh, okay.
Great.
We're over by Key Food in West Brighton.
Oh, okay. Not that far.
Yeah.
Not that far.
So.
David, can you hear us now?
Tiene arriba los stand.
Well, I'm going to duck out. I want to thank you very much.
La comida.
Thank you, Pam.
Thanks, Pam.
All right,
and we'll see you next Thursday, Pam.
Ciao, Pam.
Also, real quick, in your scroll, I just want to thank everybody for listening, and that's very nice. And Arthur Horowitz, nice to chat with you. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, David.
Bye,
Come on.
Pam.
Ciao, Pam.
Bye, guys.
Ciao. So, hey, Dave, Pam was just giving us a little idea of what you're up to, making some deliveries.
Right. So I've been, like I was explaining earlier, I do this for a couple of years now. I've been putting little farm baskets together. We grow things at the house, and I have contacts with local farms in New Jersey, and then through the restaurant business, like Massimo, we have contacts with people at the Hunts Point Market. And I thought normally I wouldn't start my baskets until May. But I thought during this crisis that people were really having a lot of difficulty getting items from the supermarkets. They're waiting a long time. It's that whole idea of social distancing that really can't be done in a supermarket safely. So I started offering the baskets for products directly from the Hunts Point Market. And I break it all down for them. And a basket consists of, like this last week's basket had onions and shallots and carrots, parsley and rosemary and arugula, lemons, apples, and I do a little baking. So I throw a nice loaf of homemade bread in there. I did some banana muffins, and it's a nice little basket. It's enough for two people to have like some sides and things for their meals, for a couple of meals. And it's very affordable. It's $20, and they get picked up in bulk by. I drop them off at Glory Honor Wines in Stapleton on Beach Street, and people come by and they pre-order their wines and they pick up their basket and their wine. It's very cool.
Good old Farmer Dave. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
I didn't know.
No, I didn't know either.
I enjoy doing it, and it really started out with maybe like 25 or 30 loyal customers. It's not something that people have to do every single week. They can drop out if they're away, or they have enough produce at home. They don't have to take it. So it's on a weekly basis. And they PayPal the money over. And this way there's no cash exchange, and they just pick up their baskets. So,
How does one sign up for that?
Yeah.
well, they go to Instagram. I am _farmer_Dave, and I usually post around Friday or Saturday of what's coming the following week, and then through that Instagram post, they go to PayPal and they send me the $20, and then on Wednesday, the baskets show up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they can pick them up from Honor Wines.
I think that's awesome. All right.
And Honor Wines is on Beach Street, right?
Yeah, she's 104 Beach Street, right in Stapleton, right off the corner, right around the corner from where Vita Restaurant is.
Yes.
Right on that corner there. That's
Yeah,
Manduser and Beach.
it's a 5-minute walk from my restaurant. Yeah.
From you, yeah.
It's right up the street. Yep,
You know,
right up the street.
it's funny because that's one of those addresses that I never knew until I went there for the first time. Then, Dusan, you always drive down, you see that one strip of businesses, and you go, where is this place?
Hey.
And you have to go the other way. Hey, speaking of Vita, we talked a little bit about this last week with Pam. I brought it up, but talk a little bit about what you were doing there in the kitchen. I know the restaurant's now closed, but the kitchen,
Right.
you were hosting dinner.
Right, so I was doing farm-to-table dinners, or community dinners is what we call
You
them.
get the phone, please.
I teamed up, collaborated with Lori Honor, and Lori would do the wines, and I would do the food. And it would do like a 5-course meal with wine, so it's like a wine dinner. And it was $55 a head. And, everything was right from the local farms. Everything was super fresh. Everything made right then and there on the spot. I got a little amuse bouche from the chef, me, thank you. And then, yeah, we did some really cool stuff. We did an all vegetarian meal one night, which was really neat. It was very, very well received. Other times I did a throwback to the American Grill one night, where we did all the specialties, the crab cake, the Chateaubriand. We did all those nice little beautiful things that we used to do at the restaurant when Pam and I had the restaurant. So I really enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, in this environment, that's not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to wait and see what time tells. The governor says we're still in that home quarantine thing until May 15th now. That's what he's saying. So we have to wait and see.
Yeah, I can't wait to be able to go out and my body is somewhat shocked. I'm used to eating late, going out, and we're eating home cooked meals, and I'm ready. I'm ready to go enjoy a nice glass of wine, have a nice meal at Vinum.
In the meantime, you got to download Zoom and do the wine tasting virtually, my friend.
Oh yeah, we're doing that.
No, I'm in. Once I get that email, because I get your emails, I'm in. I'm paying for that, and we're going to do it. Thursday night, usually our Rotary Club meets, and tonight I'm going to encourage us as a group to maybe do it. So we'll all be from home, which would be cool. I'm excited for that.
One of the things I think most islanders know how to cook their favorite meals and so forth, and we have some wonderful chefs and restaurants on Staten Island. Massimo, you're a testament to that.
Thank you.
I think what's missing and what people are starving for is the hospitality that the restaurants offer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big key that makes them special, and I think we really nail it. We really nail that here on Staten Island. I think our hospitality on many of our upper scale restaurants are really excellent.
Yeah, well, listen, that's the whole experience, and plus, I love going to a place where they know your name, you
Right.
know, you feel at home, and I can't tell you how many restaurants we're so lucky. To your point, that we have a lot of restaurants that no matter whether you don't even know the person, you're walking in there for the first time, you feel comfortable, you feel like you're at home because Staten Island, yet it's so big, yet really so small, and everybody knows somebody, which is a testament to those that are in the business, and Massimo certainly does that. And then you feel nice and cozy hanging out in that place, except for that little window seat where you're sitting right now. Sometimes, right, that's like the cold spot.
Well, you know what it is. Unfortunately, we had the front built. I put custom made steel windows, steel doors that open up. So people, I want to sit by the window. Window's always gonna be a little chilly. So I mean, you know. Just bring a little glass of grappa. Will fill you right up. Don't worry.
And you know, it's cool for people watching, especially on the when everything else is hustling around it across the street, or even if there's a party across the street at the other venue. That's awesome. That is cool. So hey, we're looking forward to getting back into action, and so we appreciate the both of you popping up.
Thank you.
Today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I also wanted to mention one last thing is that website that we put together. Right now, there's 5 restaurants. Obviously, mine, Jay's on the Bay's on there. Seppi from Irby, the pizzeria, great pizza. Who else is on there? Funky Elephant. We just got on there. Craft House, because we need our beer delivered. And we're in the process of putting on also Daddy-O's. Who else? Mizell is going to jump on. And Eddie Gomez with his restaurants as well. And I believe also I spoke to Julian, is going to put his restaurants on as well. So we're going to have a nice, probably a dozen restaurants by next week. The other main purpose of that is because we're trying also to encourage people to order directly from the restaurant.
Yeah.
Because we give incentives and percentages off and specialty packages, which we do not offer with these unfortunate, what do you call right now?
Delivery service.
Grubhubs and Seamless and all that. I mean, they're great to a certain extent, but what they charge us to do this is just, I mean, it's 20 to 30% they charge us for them to do this with Grubhub. And I think Dave knows very well that unfortunately our profit margin is nowhere close to that.
Not that big. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
they're convenient for someone because the one good thing about them, and not because I think people that only use them will find your restaurant the first time, and hopefully after that they're not going to use the service. And I will say that the restaurants on Staten Island have banded together and have sent a message. People aren't using the apps, knowing, to your point, exactly what you're saying in these times. As long as you're making it accessible for them to go and.
That is correct. Also, the other matter. Let me throw one more thing in there. We have our own drivers now, so we pick the driver. We kind of know who they are, what they do. I tell them you got to wear a mask, put gloves on, make sure you're polite, and that. We have kind of control. They're employees of ours. Sometimes when you get these drivers from these other apps, I mean, I don't want that guy to show up at my door delivering food to my wife. Might scare my wife away. There's no control on what they're going to do with our food,
or how
they're going to deliver it, how it's going to get there.
Massimo, you don't know. I mean, just like some things are a little sloppy to travel and so forth, and you don't know how they're going to handle the bag.
Exactly.
Or are they taking multiple deliveries at once, and your stuff is sitting in the car for 40 minutes?
100%, 100%, and I've gotten in the past complaints from customers that they were not aware at the time, I guess, that these drivers are not ours. So they thought it was us, being responsible for the food, how they got there, and so we're trying to, keep that they say at bay and try to provide a different way of customers to order their food from.
Yeah, especially during this time that you're taking that, you've got to be creative and make that happen. Yeah. For us, we rely for our delivery. We have a lot of takeout and pickups, and we do rely on the apps for delivery. We had gotten into hiring delivery people, and you know what? At some point, it wasn't enough to use it. So the apps are convenient.
Yes, and you know what? You're completely right, because sometimes the driver, you're not that busy. You're paying that driver per hour, and it's not, it becomes expensive. That's the whole reason why we're trying to do this, because we're so close to each other. I've been sharing drivers with Jay's on the Bay down the block. When I open across the street, we're going to start sharing drivers, because maybe I need 2 tonight. Tomorrow I need 1. I don't quite know. It's always hard to judge how many drivers you're going to need for deliveries.
Yeah, I always laugh. I live by Nona's Pizzeria, and on a Friday, Saturday night, man, they have to have at least 10 drivers. I get a kick out of seeing the cars waiting and them running pizzas out to go make those deliveries. Hey, Dawn just made a comment and a suggestion, and I want to share it. She suggests putting something in the food from you that one thanks the customer from you for using Grubhub, but then, hey, by the way, we're here. We offer this service for the next time. Maybe incentivizing them like you already are, but putting a little note in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're in the midst of doing that. Like I said, we offer, not just me, all of us offer like family packages,
Right.
deals that we don't offer those packages on delivery apps. So
Yeah.
that's also a big incentive.
Before I let you go,
That's your incentive right there to call directly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
you're supporting the local economy. You're supporting your local business. I think that enough is in itself. At the same time, yeah, we just have to be creative. Hey, Mas, before I let you go, I wanted you to share. You were also selling other supplies,
Yes.
and made available for everybody. Is that something?
Yeah, I got friends that want to call me from out of state. He goes, "Hey, how you doing over there?" He goes, "Well, I'm selling toilet paper and Windex along with a plate of pasta and a prepackaged Negroni if you want."
I like that Negroni idea.
We started doing these small tiny, small bottle that serves 2 cocktails, Negronis, Manhattans, and bourbons, and old fashioned. So I got guys coming in all the time. I'm serious. It's kind of funny, but it's cool. It's all stuff that I carry anyway. I mean, because my wife went to the market a couple of times, and I find everything pretty well stocked, except when you go into the paper aisle and the cleaning supply aisle.
Yeah.
It's very hard. So I'm like, wait a minute, I got all this stuff, and I thank God so far I get plenty as much as I want to. So I said, all right, let's put it up. So all my tables in my dining room, they're all together, and I just threw stuff on top of it, organized, and I just sell that. People come in, get some toilet paper towels, disinfectant, and their meals.
Yeah, that's great.
So call Vinum. You can get your pasta, your lasagna, your
toilet paper, Windex, and a bottle of Negroni.
Yeah, I love it. Too funny. Hey, you guys are awesome. We appreciate some time spending it with us today. Massimo, we'll see you soon with the ordering, and I'm looking forward to the wine tasting.
And one more thing, and we also have a homemade sauces in jars to go.
Oh, awesome!
That's a great idea.
So instead of you spending the money that I want you to spend on my plate of pasta, you just get the sauce and a box of pasta. Go home and you get 3 times more.
Is it sauce? Is it Sunday sauce or Sunday gravy?
My man, there is no. Listen, gravy's on your roast beef. It's on your pasta. It's sauce.
I'm with you, David. Is it the same for you guys?
I think if you put all the meat and everything in there, it's more of a gravy. I think if you braise all the meats in there. If you just have the tomato and so forth, it's a sauce.
That's why I'm an Italian citizen.
We could debate this for hours. Hey, you guys go back to work. Thank you so much.
Take care, guys. Thank you, Dave. It was great seeing you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
God bless everyone.
Yes,
you too. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Those guys are great.
The debate goes on.
We could have started that one earlier with Pam too. So we're gonna have to ask Pam. Now that's Pam's husband, Dave, and they had the American Grill together. So if anybody didn't know that, and just wrong timing. They tell that story, and they're great. Dave also has been a good friend of ours. He I don't know what's happening here. It's odd. So Dave also volunteers his time and is one of our judges and collects our judges for the North Shore Rotary Celebrity Chef event, which is a fundraiser that we invite those prominent
great
in the community to cook their wares. And so this is my trophy. We've been using this a little bit just as for Food Thursdays, but it is the trophy that both Tina and I won this past year from that event as the fan favorite. Not Dave's selection, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I don't hold him against him, but they're awesome. So thank you guys for coming in, and I really can't wait to go get to Vinum. It's been a little while.
Yeah,
But we're gonna
great restaurant.
That wine tasting.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's you know what, we're starving. We're starving for
the
things
experience.
To do.
Right. And I think you got it 100% right. It's not just the eating out; it's the whole experience of eating out. Yeah. So I think that's a great idea.
I like that. And so, how do business? I was just talking today with Todd Bavona from Gotham Video Productions, and one of the things he was saying, one, your business should stay relevant, and how do you stay creative and do these things? Well, here's a great example.
Perfect example.
Not only was Massimo selling cleaning supplies, but he was also taking the opportunity to bring his experience to your home, not just a takeout dinner.
Yeah.
So that's a charge to all of the local businesses. How do you do something to stay relevant in these times? And for us, hey, we're here communicating.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to put bowling in your home, and this is our way to do it.
Right.
We know you're bowling from home, and keep sharing those. So I think that's cool. I'm gonna April 30th. Mark your calendar.
I already did. I marked mine.
Look for that. So we have 2 segments, and so this is bugging me for a moment. So I'm going to see if I can get this on. No, that's not it.
No, that's not
okay.
it. That's not the one.
But that is the meme of the day, Nez. The meme of the day.
Oh
my gosh! I don't know what's happening here.
Oh, here we go.
We're
But
jumping
it's not.
around.
It's just on us because it's
No, it's going to be in the feed. That is bizarre. But that was our meme of the day.
Yeah.
Can I try that again?
Try again. Oh gosh. There it is. Okay. Bring back bowling soon, baby Jesus.
We are back. Shows us live. We're back. Whether you're watching us or not is a different
you're
story.
in my watch party. Do you see it? Is there a video there? Well,
I have to say, this is funny because
I want to restart it. Go ahead, Frank.
whether anybody's going to come back now after we.
You never know.
I'm glad, the last couple of times we've had some technical issues. It's been at the end of the show. This one is my fault. Completely my fault now that I know what happened, which I find funny. And I started telling the story, but I figured I'd wait. And we're back on. So, well, thanks for hanging in there if you're still out there. We had some technical difficulties there. We were bouncing around. I thought it was the platform as things are jumping around, and I realized as this is completely my fault. And so we were laughing about drinking wine, and we're not drinking wine today, but last night, I can't even get it out because it was pretty funny, and it's sad because now I knew this something is going to happen. So last night, every Wednesday night, we do a Zoom call with friends, bowling friends in the industry, and it's a virtual happy hour every Wednesday night, 7:30. Now last night I had 2 Zooms going. I had one at 7:00, which was a training session for Rotary, for incoming presidents and leadership, and it was 280 people on the phone.
Awesome.
So which was cool. The incoming president
That's
for Rotary.
not Zoom with pictures, is it? It's a phone call.
No. It's Zoom. It's the Zoom video. So wait. So the Rotary International president was a speaker, and then they went through some things. I put that aside, and so I had 2 Zooms going. The 280-person Zoom doesn't come up the same as
right.
It comes across the top, but you could scroll and see everybody.
Oh, okay. All right.
If they have their thing involved. However, hey Kenny, we're not late. You are late. The show started at 2:00 as it does every day. You weren't late to the party because we left and came back due to technical difficulties. So now the virtual happy hour, and all of a sudden we're there for an hour drinking, hanging out, talking about everything. I'm listening to the radio. I'm going back and forth. I pour myself a little shot of Screwball, which that stuff's amazing. And I went to go reach for something and knocked it all over my computer. Specifically the left side of the computer. So, of course, right away I grabbed paper towels, and Joey Laspina says, no, you got to grab alcohol and cotton swabs. So in the meantime, I was cleaning. I had grabbed some alcohol, cleaned it up, and it was fine. It was dry. This morning it was cool. Well, this started happening because the keys are sticky, and they were stuck down as we're sitting here. It was fine this morning. So as we're sitting here, it's probably still drying up.
But how could the key get stuck down if nobody touched it?
The keys are stuck.
Right.
That's what that was. So, Linda Schott
wants to know what is Screwball.
Is a peanut butter whiskey.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's like the new Fireball, You can't really drink it like a shot, like Fireball.
No, mix it maybe with
You can mix
to
it,
make
or I drink it on the rocks. It's delicious. You pour it over ice cream. You do anything you want.
Okay.
So I wasn't drinking today. I was drinking last night, and yeah. So that's going to be a problem. So that's why that happens. So now we were going to show the pet of the day.
Which everything is back to.
All right. So the
normal
pet
for
of
the
the
time
day
being.
was a follow-up.
Oh no, it's happening.
It's happening again. Hey, so before we lose
Yeah,
you,
before we go,
hey, thanks for joining us.
we'll have more details tomorrow.
We'll follow up tomorrow with a pet, a meme of the day, and tomorrow's show, our friend Michael Martell and our IT specialist Pat Bono is going to join us.
Yeah, it should be a great show
yes.
tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know if that was awesome. The show itself was awesome. This